What if I told you that one war near Taiwan could make your next phone cost more, slow down AI, delay cars, crash markets, and hurt economies across the world? Sounds extreme, right? But that is exactly why Taiwan matters. Taiwan is not only part of a political dispute, it is one of the most important places on Earth because it sits right at the center of two things the modern world depends on: advanced computer chips and global trade. Let's start with chips. Taiwan produces 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors through its factory TSMC. These tiny chips are inside almost everything: phones, laptops, cars, data centers, military systems, and AI. They are the invisible brains behind modern technology. So if China invaded Taiwan, the first major shock would be a chip crisis. If factories shut down, or if ships could not safely leave the island, companies around the world would suddenly struggle to get the chips they need. That means trouble for brands like Apple, Nvidia, AMD, and Qualcomm. It would also mean shortages and higher prices for smartphones, AI servers, laptops, and other high-tech products. Now let's talk about trade. The Taiwan Strait is one of the busiest shipping routes in the world. About 20% of the world's traded goods pass through Taiwan. If war or even a blockade disrupted that route, ships would need to take longer paths, shipping costs would rise, insurance prices would spike, and deliveries would slow down. And here's the key point: the damage would not stay in Asia. It would spread across the world. Europe, the United States, Africa, and many developing economies would all feel it through delayed goods, rising costs, and shortages of important materials and electronics. Then comes the biggest problem of all: the wider economy. A Taiwan war would not just be a military crisis. It could trigger financial panic, sanctions, banking stress, trade disruption, and possibly a global recession. Taiwan would suffer the most. China would also take a huge economic hit. Japan and South Korea would be deeply affected, and the US and Europe would not escape the pain either. So the bottom line is this: a war over Taiwan would not be just a fight over territory. It could become a shock to the systems that power modern life itself. So the lesson here is that in today's connected world, peace is not only about politics, it is also about protecting the technology, trade, and stability that all of us depend on.